I don't know. I mean, for me, honestly, I don't know if I'd like to know when I'm going to die because of the fact that What's going on, wolves, and welcome to today's video. So first of all, welcome to the new week. It's a Monday, and I always like to take Mondays and use Monday as my way to really figure out exactly what's going to be happening this week. I know a lot of people hate Mondays and they wait until Friday, but let's try to make this Monday for you guys as good as possible compared to every other Monday that you guys normally have if you don't normally like Mondays. And the best way to do that is to be excited about something that we're releasing later on this week. Brandon and I have been working on something crazy over here in Mexico, and we are just super excited about it. It's going to be changing the way all of us content creators do things. It's going to be insane. So guys, stay tuned for that. It's coming in the next few days. But until then, I thought we would do a Q&A session right now, get a bunch of your questions answered, and just crush through them. So on Snapchat, if you guys don't know my Snapchat here. No way did that noise just come on right now. Whenever I want to do a video in this house, is something, either the knocking on the roof or the noise for the pool. Let's give it a couple minutes, hopefully it turns off, and we'll jump straight into this Q&A. Okay, hopefully quieted down a little bit. I still hear it, but I closed the doors and I think I blocked some of the noise out. So we're just gonna jump straight into this Q&A, answer a ton of your guys' questions, and I'm just gonna go one by one as they come in through Snapchat here until I get really tired and can't answer any more questions. So we're gonna start at the very beginning. Max asks, how can I market my clothing line better? So that's a great question. So if you have a clothing line, a lot of you I think are entrepreneurs, you're trying to build businesses, which is absolutely amazing because again, like you guys know, we live in a time now where the internet has given anyone the ability with no excuses to build a business, which is really cool. So what you need to do, Max, or anyone else doing a clothing line or anything else on the internet, you need to actually use the internet to market yourself. So what I would do is basically use social media to find different people who you think fit your clothing line best, shoot them a DM. It doesn't matter if they have 5,000 followers, it doesn't matter if they have 2,000 followers, if they have 1,000 followers. Start with the lower followers first, go after them and shoot them DMs and say, hey, I really like your aesthetic, I really like your Instagram account, I'd love to send you a free piece of clothing or a free shirt or whatever in exchange for you shouting it out. And even though they may not have, 2, 3, 400,000 followers, it doesn't matter. You don't need to start there. Start lower, start getting sales going, start getting the branding out there, right? And then from there you can expand up and go from there. But the main thing is that everyone wants to start with like the big influencers, the big content creators. The big issue is that they're super expensive. So if you want to actually get going ASAP and not have to worry about the bigger content creators, the bigger budgets, start with the lower creators. They're gonna be more willing to get back to you, and they have super engaged followings, which is something that is all about what we're launching later on this week, which you guys will find out more later this week about. But it's crazy, guys. Just use DM. This right here is your marketing tool. Use this to go after anyone you possibly can, and that's how you can get yourself out there, right? It's just leveraging this thing. What would you rather know? How you die or when you die? It's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, for me, honestly, I don't know if I'd like to know when I'm going to die because of the fact that there's two ways to look at it. Because if you know you're going to die early, then you will do everything you possibly can to live your life to the fullest if you're like, oh, I'm going to die next week. But then again, I already have the mindset that I want to live every day as the fullest. So knowing it kind of would ruin the suspense and the excitement of living. I feel like the whole reason human beings live life the way they do is because we do know there's going to be an end at some time, right? So if you know when you're going to die, or if you know what's going to happen to you, I feel like it kind of ruins the whole thing, and that the magic about being alive kind of goes away. So I don't know, if I would have to pick between the two, I probably would want to know how I die rather than when I die, because I think it's better to keep that a mystery in your head and just live every day as if it's your last. Josh asks, if you have another job, what do you guys do? So pretty much my main focus now has been turning towards the YouTube channel and creating content on here and building out the new thing that we're launching later on this week, which again, you guys will find out about. But I do have an online education platform which I launched about 5 years ago, It helps entrepreneurs build businesses online through a passion. So let's say you really love golf or you really love cooking. How do you take that and build it into a business online? How do you put all the pieces together and really get yourself going? So that was my main business I built around 5 years ago. It's still running. I'm not fully involved there anymore. I'm now focusing more on the new thing I'm building here, which I'm really excited about. I've just been in the digital marketing world for a long time, it's been 10 years now, and finally starting to figure out what my main passion is, which is this content creation, inspiring and helping you guys really take things to the next level, because there's nothing better than getting DMs and emails from you guys. For the ones that I can respond to, I try to. There's so many of you just thanking me and just saying how much what you've got from this channel has really helped you and guided you in the right direction for whatever it is. Following your dreams, starting a business, achieving something that you never thought was possible, or just doing something you were always scared about. The point of this channel is for you to think like a wolf and not think like a sheep, and that's something I'm really passionate about and I've really fallen in love with. How old are you and when is your birthday? I'm 26 years old, like I said, and my birthday is September 7th, 1991, which is pretty crazy. I feel really old now. 26 years old is... I remember seeing 26-year-olds when I was like 18 and being like, 26, it's really old. But at the end of the day, it's all a mindset, right? Age is just in your head. You can be 40 years old, but you can feel like you're 20 as long as you take care of your body and you're active and you're doing things that keep you young. You're the one who decides if you're old or young. So if you want to be a 50-year-old old guy, then be a 50-year-old guy. I see plenty of 50-year-olds that act super young and have an amazing time and are happier than when they were 20. So again, it's all a mindset. Everything in life is a mindset. Do you have anything to tell people that can help us get to where you're at because you're living my dream? Well, Chris, I appreciate that. That's amazing. The biggest thing is just like doing it, right? Don't consume. Don't watch a ton of YouTube videos. Don't scroll on Instagram all day hoping and dreaming of living a certain lifestyle. Just get up and start actually taking action, taking little baby steps to whatever it is that you want to do. Even if it's a small thing, at least you're moving forward. I see and I talk to a lot of people who have these dreams, they have their aspirations, they have these things that they want to actually get done in life, but then again, they're sitting watching TV, flipping through Netflix shows 24/7, playing video games, and they're not doing the things necessary. This thing, the internet, has given everyone the ability. There's no excuses anymore. You don't have an excuse right now where you say, oh, it's too expensive or it's too difficult. You have hours in a day, there's 24 hours in a day, you're sleeping X amount of those, you're maybe working some of those, you're going to school, but take a few hours that you're not doing anything, the time that you're scrolling on your phone or going to hang out with your friends or whatever it is, and just take it to work on something. Because I'll tell you something, when I was in high school, I didn't drink alcohol until I was 21. Didn't do anything from like a party standpoint until I was 21. I was focused on building my business. I was focused on building this up to get my Range Rover, which was my dream. I was doing everything I possibly could to get a Range Rover. And all my friends were like, oh, let's go to this party. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. And really who you surround yourself with is everything, right? If you have friends that are like, oh, let's go and drink, let's go party, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that, you're gonna get consumed into that and you're gonna wanna do that as well. But what I did was I tried to stay as far back as possible from also being involved, but also telling them and saying, look, I'm working on this business, I'm gonna go home after school, or this weekend I'm not gonna go out or whatever, I'm just focusing. And I would literally lock myself in my room for the whole weekend and like scream to my mom to bring me food when I was on the computer researching how to do things. So this stuff doesn't all just happen like this. It takes time, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it takes you actually really putting the effort in to want to make it happen. If you don't put the effort in, if you don't do the actionable steps, it's gonna be hard for you to get there. So that's what I would say. And just leverage social media. Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people weren't in as lucky of a position as we are now. The fact that we can have an Instagram account, Facebook account, YouTube, put up content, sell clothing, DM people, get a hold of anyone, or think about this. You can DM anyone you want right now on Instagram. Anyone. Think about 10 years ago, you could never DM Kanye West. Whether Kanye West responds or not is another thing, but you actually can send him a message on Instagram. And you can do that for anyone, bigger or smaller, on Instagram, through your phone, wherever you are in the world, sitting alone at your bed or in your bed, whatever. Like, we have opportunity. Don't let that go to waste. Like, this is the time right now to hustle, get stuff done, because You may think like social media, everyone's doing it, but that's because you're immersed in it. Your life may be surrounded around people who are always in social media, but compared to 99% of the world, no one's really doing much on this. So if you get started now from the standpoint of creating content, doing stuff in the social media world, DMing people, launching your clothing line, using social media to market yourself, brand yourself, whatever, you're gonna be way ahead of everyone else. And in 10 years, you're gonna be kicking yourself if you don't start now, being like, I should have done that. So start. That's my biggest piece of advice, just start it. How did you meet people and make connections with no college experience? This right here, do you see this thing? It's called a cell phone. It's called Instagram and social media, and you just send a message to 100 people every day. Send a DM to 100 people every day. Doesn't matter if it takes you 2 hours, it's worth it. If you want to meet people and if you want to connect with people, this is the most valuable thing you possibly ever use. So just use it to your advantage. Favorite travel destination is Cape Town, South Africa, by far, which is why I'm super excited to be going back in about 2 to 3 weeks. Hey Adam, big fan from Switzerland. Thank you, Kev, appreciate that. My question is, how is it for you to be in an international long distance relationship? I'm in the same situation with my girlfriend who's from California. It's a great question, Kev. So I would say it definitely gets difficult if you're not with them for a long period of time. I totally understand that. But again, we have these things, we have video chat, we have ways that we can communicate. So Ina and I, if we're not together for a long time, then we just video chat every day. And realistically, video chat is a great way to feel like you're together without being together. And that's one of the ways that we can cope with it. Just being in touch, planning out certain trips to be together. Not as many people are lucky enough to travel as much as Ina and I are. I understand that, and we're always pretty much together doing things. But if you can't do that, like when Ina and I first met, and she came down to Mexico and I was in LA, and I did come and visit her every so often, but I couldn't come down as much as I would have wanted to, we would just use video chat and just talk to each other and stay connected like that. And that was our way of really being together. And also, space is good. Not being together 24/7 makes you miss someone even more, makes you want to be with them even more. So it's sometimes nice to be able to say, okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks, stay in touch through phone, through video, so when you see each other again, that the real connection comes back and you're like, damn, I really missed you and all that. Because sometimes as humans, everyone is to blame for this, you get comfortable and things become normal, right? So if you're with someone 24/7, sometimes things just become numb. So that's the last thing you want. So having a long distance relationship often really helps that, right? It gets rid of that feeling and makes you always super grateful to be with them. For someone who wants to travel the world, film and be creative, how do you find like-minded people to do this with and help you grow if most people are heading to college to pursue different types of lifestyle? Well, if you want to be traveling the world doing this type of content, then you should be looking for people who also want to travel the world and do this type of content. Again, Instagram. There are so many of you content creators out there who have amazing content who should just be DMing each other and just setting up trips to go together places. I'm talking about having a few content creators come out to Cape Town with us when we were out there and just be together, because being in a community is everything. Being surrounded by content creators, if that's what you want to do, who have travel and lifestyle and that type of content in their type of production, then it just makes it so much easier for you to want to do it. So just use Instagram. I would say just contact as many as possible, and don't contact the people who are going to college, because those aren't the ones that you want to be traveling with anyway. They're on a different path, right? They're going the college route, which is fine. That's what they want to do. But if you don't want to do that, you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with those people from a content creation standpoint. You should be surrounding yourself around people who want to do what you do. So just use Instagram, use DM. It's the most important thing. I'm gonna scroll through this. I started at the bottom and there were hundreds of them coming in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start scrolling up and picking random ones and do it like that, because I wanna try to get to the top. I feel bad for everyone who's just sending in questions now, and there were people who sent in before. So we're gonna kind of mix this up real quick. All right, Brent, future plans, future travels. Do you have any 2017 goals that you wanted to reach? If yes, which ones? The future plan, as you guys know, is Cape Town right now. I'm actually flying back to LA in a couple days. I'll be there for about 2 weeks, and then from there we're flying to South Africa. From a goal standpoint, what we're launching this week, I think it's going to be huge for you guys. If you are content creators, if this is a dream that you guys want to do social media and this type of content or this world, whether you're a musician, a travel content creator, a fitness creator, food creator, a fashion blogger, whatever it is, we're building something that I think is really going to help you guys. And that's probably one of my biggest goals, is to get this to become something that really helps and inspires and motivates. And not only that, but gives you the ability to find success in this space. So that's something that we're launching, and that's the main goal. By January, I want that to be something that's really doing well and helping a ton of people. Roman asks, clearly you push the entrepreneur laptop lifestyle pretty hard. What advice do you give to someone who has a dream job that requires a degree and high GPA but doesn't like school? Okay, so this is a really good question. Now, if you actually have a job that you really want to get, like a dream job that requires a degree or GPA, I think it's pretty obvious what you should do. You should put the work and effort in to get that degree, get a high GPA to get this dream job, right? Like, if it's something that you really want to do super bad and it's your dream, this is everything that you want in life, is this one thing, right? Then you should be doing everything you can. Just like how I talk about on here, if you want to build a business, through the internet and build social media or do content creation, whatever it is, you should also be working your ass off 24/7 and putting the effort in. Now, that doesn't mean, like, a lot of people watching this may not be the best content creators out there. They may not be the best filmers. They may not be the best at talking to a camera, but it's a dream job of theirs, right? You have to put the work in, you have to learn how to do it, and you have to really figure out how you can stay focused to become good at those things. And if your dream job is something that requires a GPA that's high and a degree, and you're not good at focusing or at school, then you have two choices really. It's either you forget your dream job, or you say, screw that, I'm gonna do everything I can to prove everyone wrong, and I can get a high GPA, I can get a degree, and I can get this job. And you need to just focus your ass off and really get it done. So that's pretty much what I would say. If it's really something you wanna do, then you gotta do it, right? You don't wanna live life with regret. Can you imagine if you're 50 years old and you're like, I should have got that degree, I should have gone and got that job, it was my dream, and you never did it, and you're gonna regret it, and then you die, and when you die, it's done because you can't go back, and then your life's over? It's pretty depressing to think of it like that, and it's true. It's what a lot of people go through. So, I don't know, if it's something that you really want, you gotta just go for it. Tips for teen entrepreneurs. And if you can go back and change one thing when you first started, what would you do differently? Tips for teen entrepreneurs is use the internet, use social media, and just work as hard as you can towards whatever it is that goal is that you have. Set a goal, set sub-goals. So like if your goal is to eventually get a certain car or whatever, if your goal is to eventually, do something really cool, like go on a really cool trip, and that's kind of far away, set yourself up with sub-goals. So like the first goal is make $100. Second goal is to get this. Third goal is this. So you see yourself progressing, because everything in life is about progression. That's what motivates us as humans. We like to see ourselves moving forward rather than just standing still. So it's kind of hard sometimes. Like for me, when I first got started, my goal, even though it was materialistic, it was to get a Range Rover. I was young, I was 16, I wanted a Range Rover. That was my dream. 15, turning 16. First car, Range Rover. Parents were gonna get it for me, and even though it's a materialistic thing, it's what I really wanted at that time. And that's what motivated me. But then again, to get a Range Rover, it was like really expensive, and there were a lot of in-between phases that I had to go through before getting to that point. So I set myself up with many goals to get there. And just using the internet. If you're young, you have time in your hands, you can mess up, you can screw up, whatever it is, you have so much longer to live. That's one thing that's amazing that you do have is time. And if you're young, leverage that. Just get as much stuff done as possible, work as hard as you can, and just focus on the things that you really want in life, rather than the things that people tell you is the right thing that you don't want in life, but you're just doing because they tell you it's the right thing. That will make you really upset and not happy. So don't do that. Focus on things you want to focus on, work hard, use the internet, set up mini goals and have big goals, and just crush it. What's the average cost of an apartment near the beach in California? What is the best place if you want to move there? I'm from Texas. Edgar, unfortunately, California, or specifically Los Angeles, is really expensive. I see that now more and more as I travel the world, just because I've lived there my whole life, and that's really like all I knew was the prices there. So I would say, it is super expensive, but at the same time, it's an amazing place. And if you want to be doing something in the creation world, content creation world, Los Angeles has an amazing community of people who are doing similar things. And again, life's about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So it may be worth a little bit more of an investment to live in a place like that versus where you live now, if that's kind of the direction you want to go. But I would say, you can probably get a studio apartment for $1,300 a month. It's not going to be that nice. One bedroom for maybe $1,600. I really don't know. It depends. If you're on the beach, it's expensive. Like I've seen places that are one bedrooms go up to $5,000 per month. So it really depends on what you're looking for, There are so many questions coming in, I can't answer them all, but we're gonna do 2 more right now, and then we're gonna do another Q&A session sometime in the future to get any more questions done that you guys have. What's your favorite part about traveling? P.S. Are you ever gonna visit Portugal? Portugal would be amazing. It's definitely on the list of places to go to for sure. My favorite thing about traveling is just the fact that it opens your eyes up to so much more than what you know. Like, I've talked about this before in a video, but a lot of you, and myself as well before I started traveling, you live in a bubble. Your world consists of your family, your friends, the neighbors, the people in your city around you, and that's it. And a lot of people don't realize that that's not the whole world. And if you don't travel, if you don't experience new things, if you don't open your mind, you often get caught up in that kind of bubble life where you think that's everything. I think that really hurts a lot of people with perspective, with thinking out of the box, and really it hurts them with being inspired, because there is so much amazing stuff. There's so much beauty in the world. There's so many cultures. There's so many people. Like, you think there's a lot of people when you walk outside in your city and you look around, seeing them driving, walking on the side of the road, whatever. Now think about that happening everywhere else in the world, in every other city in the world, in every other country in the world, on the other side of the world, in places that you would never imagine, with people riding horses as their main transportation, having to walk with buckets to get water. Like, you turn a faucet on and water comes out. You know what I mean? Like, perspective. Things are crazy when you travel, and you don't realize that until you actually start doing it. And I think a lot of people get caught up also thinking traveling is super expensive, when realistically, traveling isn't as expensive as you think. Like, you can get a ticket. It doesn't have to be across the world. It doesn't have to be somewhere that's super tropical. Like, just find a ticket on a website to somewhere, a state that's across from you or something, and just go for 3 days. Stay at a cheap hotel and just go and experience it. Experiencing life and doing things in a non-luxurious way is also okay. Like, just because we're staying in cool places and doing things like that doesn't mean that's the only way to travel. Backpacking, staying in vans, things like that is also really amazing and a ton of fun. And often sometimes more fun than staying in cool places. So don't make excuses that traveling is too expensive, because again, guys, just take the internet, Google it, say looking for a cheap flight to Thailand or looking to travel somewhere cheap. What are the cheapest flights on the internet? And you're gonna come across stuff where you can find a round trip flight for like $200 to Europe. Like, we've flown to Europe for $400. So there's stuff out there that's really cheap. You just have to actually go and do it and really look for it. And also time, like, everyone has time. Don't say you don't have time. I know there's certain things in life that you may have to be doing. Let's say you have a kid and you have to take care of your kid. I totally understand that. Maybe take the kid with for a little trip. Or let's say you are at school. Well, guess what? It's spring break, winter break, summer break. That's time for you to take it off and go. Or you're working a job. Well, most jobs give you a certain amount of time off for traveling, right? So just coordinate in a way where you actually can travel and just do new things. I think traveling is the most amazing thing. If anyone's in college right now and you don't know what to do with your life, you don't know if college is the right answer, take the year off and travel. I promise you, you will be the most happy person in the world, because not only will you love it and have so much fun, but you'll also figure out what you want to do for your life. Like, traveling does that. It gives you the perspective, and it gives you the opportunity to really figure out what it is that you love and what it is that you would want to do for the rest of your life. I don't know, if you're young, you got time in your hands, you should be traveling and experiencing things. It's one of my biggest things. Last question, it's a good one. Good way to end off. What is this Wolf's Talent thing all about? Well, that's exactly what we're launching later on this week that you guys are gonna find out more about. It's for content creators, it's for anyone who thinks like us, who wants to be doing this kind of stuff full time. We're really excited about it. I don't wanna spill the beans right now, because again, we made a cool video, and it's just I think it's gonna really help a lot of people and really turn this into a reality for a ton of you who are struggling or want to do this content creation thing. I don't know, we gotta all come together on this. It's gonna be really cool. So that's what's gonna be coming the next couple days. Brandon and I are gonna go downstairs right now and finish working on the video. We've been working on it for the last few days. Brandon has been crushing this edit, it's insane. And we're just super stoked about it. So With that said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys got something out of this Q&A session. It wasn't a crazy vlog, it wasn't anything insane, but I wanted to get some questions answered for you guys because I think a lot of you have a ton of potential and really have amazing things you want to do in your life, and sometimes just get caught up with these little things, these little simple questions that are blocking you from getting to wherever it is that you want to be. And hopefully some of these questions that I answered helped you get past that, get through that, and now you guys are on track, ready to just kill it in 2017 and 2018, which is coming out. It's crazy. 2018. Time flies. Damn. With that said, guys, keep being a wolf, follow your dreams, and I'll see you guys in the next video.